What is up, Motivation Fire? Welcome to the channel. So everyone here, I want to try to give an introduction of who I am, what this channel is going to be about, and kind of just a rough draft of it all. So I wanted to create this channel because I feel like me being an entrepreneur, I've experienced a lot. I've gone through a lot. And I wanted to try to educate people about just what goes on, in the space of entrepreneurship. I think that there's a lot of misinformation in this world about how to become successful or how to start a business, how to do all this other stuff. And the goal is to find a way to fuel people up, get special speakers on here to, really talk to you and explain to you, what's possible in this world. I think that nowadays many people live a different life, but many people live a life very similar to each other in a way that they grow up maybe in a place where success isn't very obvious. By that, I mean, there isn't a lot of successful people maybe around you, whether it be whatever it is that you define success as, financially, whatever it is, independently to industry. And I think that there's a lot of almost doubts and questions about how do you get through the process. How do you make it in this world? And that's what I really wanted to educate people with when it comes down to, Motivation Fire or Fire Motivation. I wanted to try to really bring on special speakers, bring on myself to really explain the processes that goes on and really also just motivate you, right? Because I understand what it's like when you start a business initially and you go through a situation where you keep paddling, you keep pushing, you keep trying to figure out what to do, but nothing ever really happens, and then maybe you lose faith, whatever it is. But I wanted to try to instruct people and try to give them the guidance and let them know what is normal. I think a lot of people think that them messing up is not a normal process and the road to success. But no, like every person I've met, and I've met incredibly successful people worth millions of dollars, meeting them and getting to know them and understanding that they have a lot more failures than any of us have on our belts. And maybe that's why they are where they are today, right? Because they just kept getting up more and more and kept pushing. I think a lot of people doubt themselves. They think, all right, well, this isn't working. 2 months into it, 5 months, whatever it could be, 6 months into it, whatever it is, this isn't working. It's not for me. This is too hard. Maybe I'm not made for it. But you have all these things and doubts and questions in your head that pops up when you're trying to do anything big in life. And you let those things take control of your actions. That's one thing to let it take control of your mind. It's another to let it take control of your actions. And so I think one of the hardest things that can possibly happen to you is when you let those doubts and fears get in the way of your actions. And what I mean by that is, let's say you start working on a new business. You go, 6 months into it, right? And you're like, man, nothing has happened in 6 months. I've only made $500 in the 6 months. Like, I haven't been able to do much with this. What is happening? And you start doubting yourself. You're like, whoa, what is going on? Like, am I doing something wrong? Am I not meant for this? People don't realize that most successful people, they started very, very, very early, right? And what I mean by that is they have 5 to 7 years on you. And so when you go out there, right, in the world, and you look at them and you look up to them and you want to learn what they did to get where they are today, remember, they have 5 years of time at least on you most of the time. 5 years of experience is a lot of time in order for people to get momentum to it. This person's just trying to sneak over. What are you doing? What are you doing? Sneak. Why are you sneaking away? We sneak away. What are you doing? What are you doing? Anyways, like I was saying, 5 years is a lot of time on you, and the big thing that you gotta realize, the most distracting thing of it, the big thing you gotta realize is that because they have 5 years of experience on you, that means it will take 5 years, maybe 3 years, maybe 3 years to be able to keep up with them. And so when you start something and you don't see success with it, and you're like, okay, well, how does this person have it? Like, why are they longer than me or more successful, whatever it is? Maybe it's because they just had more time. Maybe it's because they just have more failures than you do. Maybe they tried more than you have. And essentially, that's usually what it comes down to, is they've just been more consistent. They've been trying a lot longer than you. They've been working at it a lot longer than you. And most people, they let those doubts in their heads just stop them from even trying. And so because of that, they don't go anywhere. They can't go anywhere. I think ultimately that's what gets in the way. And so let me go outside real quick and talk more about this. Let me show you this real quick. Let me show you this. Check this out. See this, Eric? See all this? Look, I'm just 20 years old, okay? At 20 years old, I've been able to build a 7-figure business. Now, here's the thing about it. I started when I was 16 years old, okay? Even before 16, but actually taking it seriously, I started when I was 16. To build a 7-figure business by the time I'm 20 wasn't easy, and it took a lot of time. Everyone looks at me and they say, oh, he's young, he's whatever, I don't know what they say exactly, but I just know based on what people have talked to me. They say, oh, look at him, he's been able to do it. How can I not do it? I'm 24, I'm 30, and I'm not even near him. Maybe it's because I put 4 or 5 years out there working on my craft, trying to get good at what I do, and you just haven't put enough time in it yet. Who knows, you're probably gonna be way more successful than me if you put the same hours and time in as I did. And so I think that people forget it's a process. I mean, people are so hard on themselves, and they think that it's gonna just drop in their lap, and they think that they're doing something inherently wrong, or they weren't made for it, and so they stop pushing, they stop working towards it. No duh, you're not gonna get success if you quit 4, 5, 6 months, even a year later. You're not gonna get it. It doesn't happen that fast. And I wish it did, but most of the time it does not happen that fast. It requires you to put the effort in. You have to develop your skill sets. You have to develop a level of understanding yourself and what you're good at, and develop that even more, and then find ways to model after other successful people. Now, that goes back to why I'm creating this channel. I'm trying to create this channel to educate people, to entertain people, but also educate and motivate people, because I want to create content and get speakers on board who have gone through it, who understand what it takes, so that they can instruct you and teach you and show you what it takes to go where you want to go. I think too many people in this world think that they're somehow have it less, they have, less skill, they have less talent, or they're less lucky, whatever it is, and they let that become their story. They let that become the thing that stops them from actually doing anything in life. You're not gonna be able to do anything in life if that's what you tell yourself your worth or your story is. And so essentially what I'm trying to say is, if you wanna go anywhere in life, if you wanna progress anywhere in life, it requires you to go out there and actually execute for a long period of time. It's that simple. It really is not rocket science, but it requires discipline and effort. And trust me, every person, including myself, has gone through it where I don't want to get out of bed and work towards it. We all did it. We all go through those days where we're like, I don't want to do anything. I just want to sit in my bed and watch Netflix. We've all done it. The difference is, many of us who actually done stuff and been somewhat successful, we decide just push ourselves, and we're like, actually no, I'm not gonna be lazy today. I'm just gonna show up. I'm gonna do the bare minimum I need to do just to get by. I'm gonna get it done. And we did it. And sure enough, you do that 100 days a year, that makes you 100 days further ahead than the average person. So if you do that for 5 years, that is almost 2 years of literally you ahead of everyone else, just because you decide not to watch Netflix one day. So I think that people don't understand it requires the effort, the patience, the time, the commitment, and the consistency to actually go places. You can't compare yourself to someone that's been at it for 5, 10 years and be like, yo, like, why am I not there? you're probably not there because you haven't put 5 to 10 years of effort into it. So don't try to look at someone else and compare yourself to where they are now compared to where you are now. You got to look at them and be like, okay, when I was 6 months into the game and I see what I've been able to do in 6 months, what were they able to do in 6 months? And do it that way. See what were they able to do in the same amount of time and figure out if you're going the right direction. And on another topic, you got to ask yourself, what is success to you? A lot of people that I mentor, I work with, etc., a lot of them have different opinions on what success means to them, and that's normal. That's important. You got to figure out, what does success mean to you? Is success financial success? Is success to you having a nice middle class lifestyle, not worrying about bills? What is success to you? Maybe setting up your family. I don't know. What's success to you? First, you got to define what is success to you. What do you want to achieve out of your life? Then you got to figure out, what area am I pretty good at or interested in, and go down into that lane. Whether it be, building a YouTube channel could be one thing, an Instagram page, personal branding, whatever it is. Figure out what I enjoy and what is my skill sets, or something I could work on to develop my skill sets in, and how do I go down that rabbit hole and become the best at it. And when I become the best at it and I learn from other successful people who are the best at it right now, then what's going to end up happening is I'm going to look back 5 years from now, putting the consistent effort in every single day. I'm going to look back and I'm going to be like, holy crap, I did it. I think too many people don't realize that's part of the process. They don't realize that it requires you to show up every day. Every day. It's not easy. I don't like showing up every day. Sometimes I don't even show up every day. But it requires you to show up every day if you want to go places long term. And so what I'm trying to say is, don't doubt the process of it taking a long time. It's normal to take a long time. It's not easy to get things going when you start. It's just not. So what I'm trying to say is, keep working at it. It's going to take time. It's going to take consistency. It's going to take effort. If you model after successful people, most likely you'll be successful. But it requires you to put that time in, the energy in. It requires you to ask questions. It requires you to show up every day. But here's the reality. Most of you won't do that. I guarantee you, let's say we get let's say we have 10,000 people watching this video right now, right? I guarantee you, only probably 200 of those people will actually do what I'm telling you to do. That's it. And then we wonder why most of America can't pay their bills. It's because they're just not willing to show up every day and develop a new stream of income or a new stream of success for themselves. They're not willing to show up and be consistent and actually practically put everything on the line. They're not willing to do that. And so if you're not willing to do that, you can't expect to have the things that the people that did do that have. It's not rocket science, and I feel like everyone actually knows this, but they're not willing to take advantage of that information and actually apply it, because it requires effort. It requires effort for you to wake up every day and get to work. It requires effort for you to not be lazy. It requires effort for you to actually consistently, over a period of a year, to work at something and not see barely any success at all. It takes effort for you to keep doing that. But the ones who have done it historically have always been successful. And so you got to ask yourself, put it this way, ask yourself this. If you know for a fact that if you put a year into your craft and you see no success, right? No success. But if you put a year into your craft and you wake up every day and you put 4 or 5 hours into your craft every day, doing the most important thing that you need to do for your business, whatever you're trying to build. If you know for a year you do that, you don't see any results, right? But at the end of the year, you will see a crazy amount of results. Things will explode. If you knew that in your mind, that it will pay off, like it's guaranteed to pay off, the question is, would you do it? The answer is yes, but would you actually do it? What I mean by that, would you actually show up to do it? It's not easy. It's easier said than done. Even if you knew that you had guaranteed success, it's hard for you to just do the work. Even if you knew it's guaranteed. And so what I'm saying is, it's all in the mind. How can you trick yourself to actually do the work? How can you consistently do it for a period of time? You do that, you crack the code. And so I'm not even trying to motivate people. I'm just trying to tell people what's real out there, because there's so much misinformation. But if you want to live this life, if you want to achieve big things, you got to do that. So learn to show up.